What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the OIG podcast. This will be episode 8. Can't believe we're already getting up there, but episode 8 here for us. And this will be the best financial habits to start building, whether you're just starting your investment journey or starting your savings journey, or you are a seasoned veteran at this and you can use this as kind of a checklist or just a refresher, we'll call it, to get some things in your mind to make sure you're taking the right steps on these financial habits. I'm Max Messett. That's Kevin Orsinger. I know you guys probably know this by now if you've been following the podcast, but we'd like to just make sure that everybody's aware. We're going to keep bringing this stuff to you as we keep heading forward. So, Kevin, I'm going to take the first one here because
Sure.
I think I'm pretty passionate about it. And it's something I talk to a lot with my friends, my family, clients, everybody. And that is for financial habits. The first thing that comes to my mind is creating a budget. I think it is one of the most important financial tools that you can have. I just think we talk about a lot of these things, and we'll get into some other habits here, but without a budget, you really don't know the answer to any of these other things we're going to kind of talk about. So to know how much money you're saving, need to have a budget. To create goals, how can we create a goal if we have no idea what we have left over at the end of the month? Kind of hard to do there. We talk about just investing money. We talk about saving money. Well, how long is it going to take you to get from here to saving $1,000? I don't know. How long do you think it will take? We can't answer that question for you, and that is kind of why the budget comes into play. All a budget is, we're tracking cash flow. So I don't care how you do it. I use an Excel spreadsheet personally. I know a couple other people that do as well. You don't have to. You quite literally can write it on a sticky note if that's what you're thinking. All this is going to be is we write down the money that came in. So we're tracking our paychecks or however we get money in on a monthly basis. And then the hardest part that people face is tracking their expenses. So every time we spend money in the month, we're going to have to write that down or put in an Excel spreadsheet so we can see we had this much money come in, and after we have spent money and we wrote it all down, what do we have left over at the end? And guys, that's a pretty simple side of it. Doesn't have to be confusing. It just gives you a great baseline on where you stand per month, knowing what you have left over. So I know I kind of just dove in there, Kevin. What's kind of your thoughts on that?
No, we talk a lot with people about being connected to their money.
Yeah,
Like you kind of have
yeah,
to know what's coming in and what's
yep,
going out, and a budget is a great way to do that. Kind of an industry rule of thumb is what they call the 50/30/20 rule
yeah,
with
yeah,
budgeting. So, 50% of your bring home goes to things that you need, things that if you did not have, your life would be a struggle. A roof
yep,
over your head, utilities, basic utilities, not 12 streaming services, but basic utilities, um, food. We've got to eat,
mm-hmm,
and then probably some sort of vehicle payment to get us to and from
mm-hmm,
our employment. Um, but yeah, any good financial plan, any good investment plan starts with how much money is coming in each month
yeah,
and how much money is going out. And that in the essence is what a budget is. It's not an exaggeration to say that as we work with new clients, 75, 80, 90% of them have no answer to even how much money goes into your bank account each month.
right,
So,
right,
so understanding those things better, like I said, being connected to that better, um, gives you the baseline
mm-hmm,
for building a budget, building positive cash flow. It's like any other habit you're trying to build. It's not going to happen overnight.
right,
Like any other habit you're trying to
right,
build, it's a bit of a pain in the behind. If you're
yeah,
trying to lose weight,
yeah,
as I'm constantly in that battle, of eating better and exercising more. Like
right,
it takes changes of
yeah,
what you're currently doing to be able to um, build better habits. But Max, you're 100% right. The budget is the starting point for any of it.
right,
Understand what's coming in, understand what's going out, and then make the necessary adjustments to get you
mm-hmm,
to the goals that you've set forth.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. And like I said, it doesn't have to be complex. We can go sticky note, piece of paper, pencil. It can be on Excel spreadsheet, whatever gets you to that end number. Just start tracking it, be connected to your money, and it will kind of open up some eyes, I think, on a lot of places to see what that looks like. Because kind of our next one that we look at is, something that's important is to save consistently. But again, that kind of connects back to that budgeting thing. We can't save consistently if we don't know how much we are going to be able to save. With that, and I'll kind of roll that into our third, financial is living below your means. We talk a lot about that. to be able to save consistently, you have to have money left over at the end of the month. How we do that, you can't spend more than you bring in. So a lot of that time is, when we talk about our means, that is, you know, if we're making $60,000, we can't spend enough money like somebody that's making $300,000, because we're never, you know, you're never going to have money. And then the save consistently part, I think, is super important to get that ingrained in your head as soon as possible. Of, I need to make sure I have money left over at the end of the month to build a savings account, to set myself up for my future success, invest some money. Kevin, what's kind of your, you know, how do you word that maybe a little differently there?
Yeah, I think people that do well with their money treat savings like an expense. It's not an optional thing every month. It's not, hey, with whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month. They determine whether it's $100 or $500 or $1,000 a month, or whatever the number is that fits into the budget, that gets paid or moved out of a bank account into some sort of investment account on a consistent, usually automated basis. Therefore, it's happening. You don't have to make a decision about it. It's coming out just like a car payment would, or your rent payment or your mortgage would come out. There is a pay your first concept in financial planning and investment planning, which basically means before you pay any other bills, you put money aside for future you.
Right.
And like I said, whether that's starting with, I'm going to build an emergency fund, and when that fund is built to a 3 to 6 month level, the next step is I'm going to start saving for 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20, 30, 40 years down the line. And all of that happens before you spend one dime on yourself or the need items or the want items that you have. And the people that do that consistently, and even more importantly, the people that start those habits earlier, generally have success. So it's not necessarily the amount that you're saving or putting aside, the fact that you've done it for 40 years. What benefits you.
And kind of that swings in that same conversation is where debt kind of steps in. And I know, you know, financial habit, obviously everybody's has different views on debt. There's good debt, bad debt, you know, short-term debt, long-term debt. And we kind of talk about all that all the time. But that live below your means. And all we mean by that, again, is not spending more than you have coming in, because what ends up happening is you do dig yourself a hole with getting into debt, whether that's credit card debt or you have to take a loan out for this or that, the other thing. And, you know, you repair your house, and next thing you know, you still have, you know, $50,000-$60,000 sitting out there for you that you just don't have the money to pay off because you are spending too much a month, that you just don't have the leftover money. So that's that save consistently side. Is not all debt is bad debt. Like, you know, you're going to have some, whether it's a car payment or you're going to have a mortgage, right? You live somewhere. But I think staying out of that habit of continuously getting into credit card debt. I know Kevin can attest, one of the biggest financial killers that we see is high credit card debt, because of those interest rates, because of just the pain it is to get out of it and the monthly sacrifice it does take of putting money towards it to lower that debt. So kind of financial habit would be, I would just come out and say it is stay out of credit card debt. If you have a credit card, pay it off every month, whatever that balance is. Make sure you're able to pay it off. Don't use it as, I can do it in the next 2 or 3 months. No, if you don't have the money to spend in that month to pay it off, I would recommend staying away from it. Kevin might have a different feel, and a lot of people do, but that is just my personal opinion on it.
No, using credit cards is a payment of convenience. You know, you're using someone else's money for a bridge period of time of, 15 to 30 days. But as Max said, you should not be spending money on a credit card that you don't have the ability to pay for when that bill shows up in the mail. And even allowing $500 or $700, grow or be unpaid from bill to bill, the amount of interest you pay in that, and before you know it, that $750 balance you didn't pay off is now, $1,500 going to $2,000. And before you know it, you owe $8,000 or $10,000 on a credit card that's at 30% interest. And just because we didn't make some sacrifices in the time, or in the moment, we've now negatively impacted a long period of time for ourselves. There are people, and I think it's a Warren Buffett ism, that basically said, for larger purchases, whatever that might be, if you don't have the money in the bank to buy it twice, you don't buy it once. So if you're going to, you found some fancy TV that you wanted that was $2,000 and it has all the bells and whistles on it. If you don't have $4,000 available to buy that TV, you don't spend $2,000 on it.
Yeah.
And that comes back to the wants and needs part of budgeting. You know, what are the things that you have to have, you need to have every month? And then what are the things that you want? But honestly, if you didn't have, you're still going to be able to exist.
Yeah, going to be just fine.
Those big purchases feel great in the moment. But ultimately can bite you in the backside in the long term if you do not have the means to pay it off. So credit card debt can be a killer through life, but especially when it comes time to retire, if you have to make, $1,000, $1,500 a month payments for credit card debt in retirement, you're going to have a hard time retiring and doing the things that you want to do.
Yep, no doubt. And then kind of these last two here, Kevin, two of them, one, set financial goals is a big one that we always talk about. And then the biggest one that we always have, investing for your future. Those two wrap into kind of one for me, I think, of the goal being no matter where you're at, let's start. So that's always the first goal for me, because that, setting financial goals is, hey, maybe let's start a Roth IRA, or if we haven't been putting money in a 401k, let's do that. Let's take those next steps to, hey, can we max out that Roth maybe, or what's that money look like after that? And then that goes hand in hand for me with investing in your future, because those are those future accounts for you, right? It's great to build up an emergency fund. It's great to get some money in the bank. And that's what we talk about when we say save consistently and live below your means. That makes that money available to do those things. This is that next step of, okay, our present situation looks good right now, right? Like we have some money in the bank. Like you said, we could buy whatever we really want. We got double in the bank. That's good. I'm not spending more than I'm making. I'm budgeting everything. I got everything kind of calculated out. This is that big change, I think, for a lot of people of take that next step, invest in your future, open up, talk to a financial professional, figure out what those next steps are to set yourself up for future success, whether it's a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, some of those accounts that I talk about in 2 Minute Tuesdays. There's a lot of great avenues to go. And Kevin talked about the automated side. This is where you take that next chance to treat it like a bill. Seriously, treat it like a bill. Have it come out of your savings account just like you would, car payment or your mortgage. Just have it slide right out at the beginning of the month. You don't see it, you don't notice it. And then you still have your money left over at the end of the month that we call that, hey, you've been doing your due diligence. You have that time. Go spend some. Go have some fun. Go out to eat once or twice or whatever that looks like for you. But these two are really the financial habits that make a difference for folks 20, 30 years down the line. Not tomorrow, but that future is where this steps in big time.
Yeah, this is not a podcast on living like a pauper, living,
right.
Eating cat food because you don't want to spend money at the grocery store. It's really about balancing out what you do with the money that comes in. Again, some of it has to be spent on things you need to exist. Some of it needs to be saved for either emergency funds or future you. And then there's a percentage of it, and it's usually about 30% of what you bring home. Go have fun with that.
Yeah, right.
If that's your fun money. That's your, I'm going on vacation. I'm going out to eat with friends. That could be your, I'm buying that big TV money.
Yeah, right.
So it's not a matter of you've got to set a budget that's so strict and so tight that you're not able to enjoy today. We want the balance of being able to enjoy today with maybe making some sacrifices that we can't do everything we want to be able to enjoy future years because we've made good decisions with what we have saved and how we have done it. And like I said, any sort of financial plan starts with building your emergency fund. And then once that's built, the next goal is let's start to save for your future. And how we go about that and the best types of accounts and the best way to do that varies from individual to individual. But ultimately, it's the path that people take. I'm a big believer of the following saying, and I'll say this, we'll get into our conclusion. Everyone has choices in life as they make decisions, and it comes down to one of two things. You can make the decisions to make things easier on you now, but inevitably they're going to be harder for you later. Or you can make the decision for things to be a little bit harder for you now so they're easier for you later. And I would tell you that people that do a good job of budgeting, do a good job of automating savings, that understand and are connected to the money that comes in and goes out each month are the ones that are living the, it's a little bit harder now because I've had to make some sacrifices, but I know that in 20 years or 30 years or whatever that time frame is, life is going to be much easier for me for some of the minor sacrifices that I made again, 20, 30 years ago.
Kevin, I don't think the right slide popped up there. We're just looking at your home screen for the just computer. But yeah, not that.
Well, we'll stop that. Thank you. And we'll try that again.
It lagged a little bit, so I don't know if there was some.
No, I don't think I did it correctly. There we are.
There we are. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, like I said, here's kind of our that summary slide that we talk about now, guys. And the first step there being create a budget. Second being save consistently. Third being live below your means. 4, set financial goals. And then the fifth one there, invest for your future. Really, guys, they all tie in together. This isn't all individual, necessarily like, oh, where am I? These are all, they all go together. But like I said, the biggest one is finding, you got to be connected with your money, like Kevin talks about a lot. That's going to allow you to figure out what you can save, at least give you an idea on what you have left over. Living below your means gives you that opportunity to have some left over. And then let's switch that narrative and start investing and saving for our future, because we get to do this every single day, and we get to see both sides of the ball for that side of if you've done enough, if you haven't done enough. Only thing I want to say on that is if you haven't started, you have an emergency fund set up, have a 401k through work, and you haven't started looking at anything else, now's your time to do it. Whether you're 21 years old and you're in your first job, whether you're 58 coming up on, hey, I'm thinking about the word retirement actually is in my dictionary now. There's still some time. So just really take it serious and take advantage of having time left of whatever those steps look like. Talk to somebody like ourselves, and let's get you on the track to get that figured out.
The best, as they say, the best day to start to change things for yourself is yesterday. The second best day is today. So if you're hearing this and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm doing some things maybe not ideally, don't put it off for months, because months turn to years, and then you're 5 or 10 years down the line doing exactly what you're doing now. Take some time to review what you have. Take your time to talk to a financial professional and get some guidance on what you need to do, and you will be better for those decisions in the long run.
Yeah. Guys, we always appreciate you hopping on here, checking these podcasts out. I think we're having a lot of fun bringing them to you. If you have any ideas or topics, feel free to get a hold of us. Let us know what we could help anybody out with on these topics and making some of these podcasts. QR code on there, give that a scan. It'll take you to all of our stuff for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, just everything we got. So check that out. But as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're going to keep bringing these to you. Like I said, some good information, and hopefully you guys are finding these helpful. So we'll catch you on the next one coming up.
Very good. See ya.
Awesome.